Some people believe everybody deserves a second chance, but what happens when that second chance turns into tragedy? Today's story is about a man that not only destroyed his first family, but also his second. This is the story of Gregory Green. One husband, one wife.
Both true crime fans.
A different case every episode.
One terrifying story at a time.
I'm Carla.
And I'm Phil.
Welcome to Terrifying and Twisted.
Hey up again.
Hey up, we're back with episode 2.
We filmed this straight after episode 1. We're basically trying to bulk record them, so
yeah.
We're not always playing catch up, which obviously we won at problems last time. We were constantly chasing.
Yeah, making sure we always had his research done, and
so we're learning from his mistakes from the first one, basically.
Absolutely, we're hoping to get at least, did you say 6?
Yeah, 5 or 6 recorded before we go.
Start putting them out.
Last episode we spoke about how we'd done this before. I think we did something like 26 episodes.
Yeah.
So we did quite a bulk. We had quite a few downloads. People listening from all over the world. India, Australia, America.
Canada, you name it. The friends that we made from it.
So this episode we wanted to quickly speak about me and Carla. Obviously,
who we are.
We're married. We're from a small town in Yorkshire. We met through Facebook and mutual friends.
Mutual friends, Facebook, a bit of banter between us both.
Yeah. We've been married 14 years.
Together 17.
Yeah. We've got 3 kids together. 12, 15 and 18.
Yep.
As house is mainly run around football.
Yeah, massive football.
As youngest son is massively into football. We train 3 nights a week with him. Play Saturday, Sunday football on a weekend. So I'm obviously a massive Leeds United fan. Absolutely. Carla used to be a Manchester United fan, but now she's converted.
No. I was brought up.
She used to be a Manchester United fan, and now she's a Leeds United fan because I gave her no choice.
Bielsa did that. Let's just be honest.
So yeah, as house is mainly run around football because we both love football.
Yeah.
And at the minute it's World Cup.
First England game tonight. Come on, boys, bring it home. You got to believe.
It's the hope that kills you.
So we're going to talk a little bit about what we've watched. Any recommendations?
Yeah, any recommendations for anything true crime? Hit us up on our socials.
Yep, please make sure you go and give us socials a follow because we're trying to build that up because we didn't really push that last time, did we?
No.
We didn't really, but I've had a bit more experience now in terms of TikTok.
Yeah, Carla's got her own TikTok page, so you can follow Carla on her TikTok. It's called Carla Chaos
and Crime. And my Facebook. But I've had a bit more experience, so I kind of know what works and what don't.
Yeah, so please like us, give us a follow, and help us.
Yeah. So what have we watched that we would recommend?
Oh, this Sunday morning we watched the true crime documentary called Maternal Instinct on Netflix.
Yeah.
And for me, it was one of them when it finishes, I was pretty speechless, I was pretty shook. I didn't know anything about the case, and it's not what I expected. I didn't read description or anything like that because I try not to. I just like to go in blind. Let's just say I was pretty shocked.
Yeah, that was one way to start a Sunday morning.
Yeah, so if you haven't watched it, highly recommend it. It's pretty fucking grim.
Yeah. We haven't really been watching much else, have we?
No, because obviously it's World Cup.
Yeah, so and that does take up a lot of us.
Yeah.
We are. Do I admit that we're Love Island fans, though? We do. Don't pull that face.
I'm not a Love Island fan. Carla forces me to watch Love Island.
You are a liar.
Not only does she force me to watch Love Island, she forces me to watch Love Island USA as well. It's terrible.
Yeah, because you can see me, a 5-foot little woman.
Help me.
Pinning him down at 6 foot.
Is that the code for help me?
Shut up. We do enjoy a bit, although we say every year, we're too old for this now, we're not watching this shit again. We always end up watching it.
Not only do we like true crime, we like trashy TV. So.
Yeah, we do. Anyway, this week it is down to me.
Yep.
And I know we mentioned it before, we do try to do a case that neither of us know about. So this case I had never heard of. So I'm kind of hoping that you haven't. I think me and you have got different styles in how we're going to deliver our cases.
Yep.
And I'm hoping that that kind of gives a bit of variety for people that listen. So here goes. I'll jump straight into mine.
Get your brew ready.
Yeah, you've got to have your brew. There are some true crime cases that stay with you because of the brutality involved. Others stay with you because of the questions that they leave you with. But every now and again, you will come across a case that does both. A case that you struggle to understand how it could happen once, but then you go to find out it's happened twice. The case takes us to Dearborn Heights, Michigan, just outside Detroit. The kind of place where most people know their neighbours, kids play in front gardens, and life is ordinary. Nothing about this street stood out from being any other. No one would ever imagine that this street would soon become the focus of national headlines. On the evening of September the 21st, 2016, something happened inside a family home that would leave the whole community stunned. And at the centre of it all was a man named Gregory Green. So have you heard of Gregory?
Doesn't ring a bell, no.
Let's continue. Around 8 p.m. that evening, emergency services received a call. That caller was 49-year-old tongue twister this. That caller was 49-year-old Gregory Green. When police arrived, they found him outside the family home, waiting. He didn't try to run or hide, and there was no dramatic police chase or standoff. Instead, Gregory stood calmly as officers approached. No one knows exactly what was going through his mind at that very moment. Relief, regret, but whatever he was thinking, the horror waiting inside the house was beyond comprehension. Because inside, officers found Gregory's wife, Faith Green. She was still alive, but badly injured. Scattered throughout that house were the bodies of 4 children. 19-year-old Chadney, 17-year-old Cara, 5-year-old Coy, and 4-year-old Kaylee.
Chadney?
Yep.
Right.
His entire family destroyed in one night. When stories like this make news, people often look for a reason, a motive, something that explains how a father can turn on his entire family. And at first, the investigators believed that they had one, because Gregory and Faith's marriage had been falling apart. Faith had recently filed for divorce, and their relationship had been deteriorating. Arguments had become more frequent and tensions were growing. Sadly, family annihilation cases often follow a similar pattern. The relationship breaks down, the person loses control of the life that they built. And instead of accepting that reality, they lash out in the most unthinkable ways imaginable. At first, Gregory appeared to fit the pattern. But as investigators began digging into his background, they discovered something that would change everything. Gregory Green wasn't a first-time killer. In fact, when police walked up that driveway in September of 2016, they were speaking to a man who had already taken the life of his wife before. Not only his wife, but their unborn child too. Which takes us back 25 years to 1991. Gregory Green was just 24 years old, and at that point he was married to a young woman called Tara, who was 23. The couple were expecting their first child together. She was 6 months pregnant. And for most couples, that's one of the most exciting times, the planning, the conversations about the future, what kind of parent she'll be. For Tara, those hopes and dreams never became reality, because in 1991, an argument erupted between them, and what happened next would destroy the family forever. According to the court records, Gregory attacked Tara with a knife, stabbing her multiple times in the face and chest. The attack was brutal, and by the time he'd finished, 23-year-old Tara was dead, and so was their unborn baby. 2 lives gone. Once again, Gregory Green didn't run. He didn't try to cover up the crime, and instead, he picked up the phone and called 911. Then he waited. The police arrived to find him waiting at the scene, just like they did 25 years later. Gregory was arrested, charged, and eventually pled no contest to second-degree murder, which basically means that he would not admit his guilt, but he also didn't dispute the charge.
Yeah, we've seen that a few times, haven't we?
Yeah. I think that this was the point where the case ends. A man's responsible, charged, and sent to prison.
Goodbye.
But prisons aren't only designed to punish people, they're designed to rehabilitate them. Or at least that's the theory.
Yeah.
And over the years that followed, Gregory Green appeared to become exactly the kind of inmate that rehabilitation programmes point to as a success story. He completed courses, he participated in programmes, his prison history was uneventful. There was little to suggest that one day he would become the focus of yet another horrific murder. Years passed, then more. Parole hearings came and went. Initially, Gregory's requests for release were denied. Officials reportedly raised concerns about his remorse and the lack of remorse, and whether he truly understood the gravity of what he had done. But eventually, after serving 16 years in prison, he was granted parole. Rightly or wrongly, at that time, the parole board were looking at a man who appeared to have spent years rebuilding himself. A man who, on paper at least, seemed to be doing everything that was expected of him. And no one believed in second chances more than Pastor Fred Harris. Fred Harris became one of Gregory's strongest supporters. He advocated for him, encouraged him, and believed he deserved the opportunity to build a life outside of the prison walls.
Oh, Fred.
It gets worse. For a while, Gregory appeared to be living proof that rehabilitation can work and change was possible. After he was granted release, Gregory became extremely close with the Harris family, eventually marrying Fred Harris's daughter.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew
Faith.
I knew it.
So, Faith Harris already had 2 children from a previous relationship, a son called Chadney and a daughter called Cara. Together, Gregory and Faith then went on to have 2 children of their own, 2 daughters, Coy and Kaylee. For several years, he seemingly appeared to be doing everything that everyone had hoped. Married, raising children, involved in the church. From outside, it looked like he'd actually successfully rebuilt his life. For the people that advocated for his release, it actually felt like they'd made the right decision. But the reality behind closed doors appeared very different. In 2013, Faith filed for a personal protection order against Gregory. In court documents, Faith described him as becoming threatening and intimidating, claiming that he was attempting to force her out of the family home, along with warning her, and I quote, "Things are going to get ugly." That request for a protection order was denied, and life carried on, at least for a while. The kids went to school, people went to work, birthdays were celebrated, and family photos were taken. But by 2016, the marriage was at breaking point. Faith filed for divorce, which was served not long before the tragic events on the 21st of September. The day began like any other. Nobody waking up that morning would have imagined it would be the last day they were alive. Not Chadney, not Cara, and certainly not Kai or Kaylee. According to the prosecutors, the attack began with Faith. Gregory forced Faith into the family basement, where he restrained her using duct tape and zip ties. The details that emerge afterwards paint a picture of not just violence, but control. At some point during the attack, he also shot Faith in the foot. He then used a box cutter and slashed her face and throat multiple times. Her injuries were horrific, but she was alive. Prosecutors would later argue that keeping her alive wasn't out of grace, but because he wanted to make sure that she witnessed what would come next, which remains one of the most disturbing parts of this entire case. Gregory went on to force Faith to watch as he murdered her 2 older children, 19-year-old Chadney and 17-year-old Cara.
So he forced her to watch.
Yep.
That's a different kind of evil, isn't it?
Yeah. The teenagers were taken down into that very basement where Faith sat, tied up, restrained. Just imagine a mother, bound and injured, unable to move, unable to intervene, unable to protect her children, and forced to watch as he shot them each multiple times. That was deliberate suffering inflicted on Faith. But Gregory also wasn't finished. Upstairs were his 2 young daughters, Kai and Kaylee. Unlike the older siblings, they were not shot. Instead, he led them outside to their family car, he attached a hose to the exhaust and fed it back into the car, and then placed both the daughters inside. As the engine rang, carbon monoxide filled that car. Both girls died from carbon monoxide poisoning. Gregory then carried both the girls back into the house and placed them in their beds and covered them with their quilt and walked away as though they were sleeping.
That is strange. That he's killed two so brutally.
Yeah.
And then the other two is sort of put them to sleep.
Yeah, he even put them back in bed and covered them up like they were just sleeping.
Maybe they were his favourites compared to all.
Well, they were his biological, weren't they?
Right.
Because the two older teenagers were from a previous...
What can I just say? Pastor Fred has fucked up.
Fucked up massively. So, then, just like 25 years earlier, Gregory picked up the phone and called 911, just like he did in 1991 when he murdered Tara. He told them what he'd done and he sat and waited. No running, no hiding, no denying. When officers arrived, Gregory were arrested and investigators began the awful task of documenting one of the worst family murders Michigan had seen in years. Meanwhile, news of the murders spread rapidly, and as details of Gregory's past emerged, disbelief quickly turned into outrage. People started asking questions about how can someone that murdered his first wife be allowed to do it all over again. In the days that followed, the community struggled to come to terms with what had happened. 4 children were dead, a mother had survived, and at the centre of it all was a man whom many believed had changed. As prosecutors built their case, the evidence against Gregory was overwhelming, and there was never any dispute over who committed these murders. The focus was more to secure a conviction and sparing Faith from having to relive every detail during a lengthy trial. In February 2017, Gregory pled guilty, admitting responsibility for the murders of all 4 children. This guilty plea meant that families would be spared the ordeal of that full trial, but it also meant that many people would never hear an explanation of why he did it. After admitting responsibility, Gregory offered very little insight into what actually made him destroy his entire family. When the sentencing came, Faith Green finally was able to face the man who murdered her children, the man that she once trusted, the man that she'd married, and the man that she defended and built a life with. In her victim impact statement, she didn't hold back. She described Gregory as a monster, a con artist, and the devil in disguise. A man she believed had changed, and a man that she once believed in. So in March 2017, Gregory Green was sentenced to decades in prison. He was sentenced to 45 to 100 years for the 4 counts of murder.
Bye-bye.
25 to 50 years for the torture of Faith. 10 to 22 years for imprisonment, and additional time were added on for firearm offences.
Which I'll never get.
They're already going to die in prison.
They're already going to die in prison, so is it like when they eventually go to hell, then they get tortured for those said years?
Possibly.
Oh, just so you know, you've got an extra 30 years that we're going to torture you for.
So that is the case of Gregory Green.
Wow. And she obviously knew about his past.
Yeah. Yeah, but she fully believed that he had changed and he was capable of change.
And it's quite recent, because like 2016 to me is quite recent. Even
Well, it's
though
10 years ago, isn't it? But it is recent.
Not. Yeah.
Like some cases that we look at, you're looking at 80s, 90s.
Yeah.
But I'd never heard of Gregory Green, and I'd never heard of the things that he'd done.
And I hope you guys have never heard of Gregory Green.
Yeah. Well, it was quite hard to get some information, I'm not going to lie, because I don't think there wasn't a right lot out there.
Yeah. There's a lot of cases where it is limited information.
Yeah.
But you just have to try your best.
I'm quite interested in because there were very limited information about his first murder of Tara. And I was trying to find any information out if it played a part his age when he committed that crime, because he was 24. So I was trying to work out if that played a part in his release, because he served 16 years for that murder. But technically it were a murder of 2 people.
Not only that, he didn't even try and explain it away. He didn't even sort of like, oh no, it wasn't me. He was just like, yeah, it was me.
Yeah, both times he called the police himself. Both times admitted and sat and waited.
He was like, oh, do you know what?
I've fucked up again.
I've done it again, officer.
I can't help but think that Fred Harris regretted backing Gregory Green,
Absolutely.
massively. So that's my case done.
Can I just say that for his episodes, while we're just getting used to it, there might be a few mispronunciations. Cause
I'm terrible.
We're not the best at big words. We are from Yorkshire, after all.
Yeah. And anyone that listened to us podcast when we first did it, you will know that the running joke on me and trying to pronounce, especially places, like I'm terrible for it.
Yep. So, Gregory Green, may you rest in shit.
He's gonna fucking die in that prison. And
Bye-bye.
rightly so. Rightly fucking so.
So, we'll wrap it up then.
Episode 2 done, bro.
Come on, England. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.